much credit does LaVar Ball deserve for all the hype surrounding basketball right now?
A lot of credit, perhaps an uncomfortable degree of credit, because one of the things that we have to make peace with is that the most scarce and valuable resource in America, in the world in 2017 is attention. There are a zillion TV shows, a zillion movies. Everyone is competing against every app on our phone, and somehow and some way in this game in which everyone is competing, a game which has surfaced some questionable characters. We can point to the Kardashians, for instance, sitting atop the attention economy. LaVar Ball is right up there now. And we need to acknowledge that maybe we don't love the game of attention manipulation, but it is a damn hard game. And the degree of difficulty on this is higher than we realize.
All right, so let's think about this, right? Like, Zion Williamson is the truth. There are questions about LaMelo Ball and how good he is ultimately going to be, right? Suddenly, Zion Williamson got more attention than he would have gotten otherwise because of the LaVar Ball machine. Right now, is that good? I guess it raises its own question, except for the fact that we wouldn't be watching the Zion Williamson AAU game without LaVar Ball being there. I don't see how he's bad because this remains entertaining, right? As long as we get him away from talking about anything that actually matters and just stick to these wild, ridiculous things that he says, they're amazing, because part of why he holds the attention of America is there are two kinds of people in this country. People who look at LaVar Ball and they're like, I can't understand this guy. And people who know a zillion LaVar Balls, and we just can't believe that one of them is on television talking like this. Like, this is not the first dude that I've ever met like this. This is probably not even the first dude on the AAU circuit like this. Because, like, when he wilded out and took the team off the court at the AAU tournament, I think it was last week.
Yep, I was yelling at LaMelo.
I was like, man, have you never been to an AAU tournament before? Like, these are the things that happen. So what I think is kind of funny is he's putting a spotlight on this element of basketball that we know about, but we don't pay that much attention to. But he also somehow is representative of all the things that people say that basketball should be. Like, this is an AAU team that does not take the shoe money. This is centered around his family. This is about bringing all these kids together from the neighborhood and everything else. So at once, he's like everything you want and nothing that people want, except it's not that it's nothing that people want. It's nothing that people admit that they want, because he turned that into a standing room only call the fire marshal situation, and there's no argument to make that that's bad for anybody.
Adam Silver, I think about him in times like this, and I think about whether he had fears, whether he still has fears about LaVar Ball. I would imagine as a smart, politically savvy CEO type person, he does. But there is such value to being or to having a rebel inside of your machine. There is value to having someone who is subversive, but at the same time is doing that thing where his tide is lifting all of your boats. He is helping sneaker companies, which the NBA is in business with. He's helping the grassroots basketball scene, which the NBA is in business with. He's helping the college basketball scene, which the NBA is in business with. He is basically giving a higher profile to LaMelo Ball, who's legit but has questions, and to Zion Williamson, who is legit, period. He's giving them more attention and better Q ratings than some NFL quarterbacks, than some of the greatest baseball players literally of all time. Who's more recognizable and talked about right now? Mike Trout or LaMelo Ball?
Oh, LaMelo Ball. It's not even close.
And it's not close.
It's not close. But let me ask you this, though. You say Adam Silver has something to fear. What is there to fear for Adam Silver, right? Like, what can LaVar Ball do to mess up the business for the NBA? In fact, even if, like, you get 2 or 3 of the ball kids in the NBA, it'll probably be 2, right? So say you've got 2 of them, and say you've got loud LaVar and everything that comes with LaVar being loud and everything else. You have a harmless troll who gets attention, right? In this league that it always struggles in the way that it reaches fans. They finally found a bit of a sweet spot or whatever it is, but there's so many people who hate the NBA just because they hate the NBA. LaVar Ball's the troll that actually brings them in to watch, and how's that bad?
They just prefer the college game, Bomani. They don't hate the NBA.
That's all it is. Why would you rather watch professional players?
But I do think one of the things that could be dangerous is what you alluded to earlier. Don't make LaVar Ball more than what he is. Let him be the ringmaster. Let him be the guy who is floating all these boats. But don't put him in a scenario where suddenly you are voting on his conscience. That's not what we're here for. We are here mostly to laugh.
Yes.
We're here to laugh at the fact that LeBron James apparently couldn't get into an AAU event. LeBron James, we were in All-Star Weekend in New Orleans. LeBron James's party was a black tie party. Why? LeBron James wanted to keep the riffraff out of his party. And that dude couldn't get into LaVar Ball's AAU extravaganza, which is amazing.
I mean, this is where we are. The thing with the Lakers that's so crazy is that If they draft Markelle Fultz, say they had the #1 overall pick and they had taken Markelle Fultz, are we as interested in what the Lakers do this year? And Markelle Fultz pretty much universally was considered to be a better player
Not a chance.
than Lonzo Ball. Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Jason Tatum is a much more important rookie, plays on the Eastern time zone, and is going to the team that had the #1 seed in the East last year. Who do we care more about seeing, Lonzo Ball or Jason Tatum?
And it's instructive for us to revisit the sneaker saga, too, because he was clowned widely and roundly for reasons that had to do with the degree of his ambition. He was asking for a lot. People had problems with the terms of his proposed contract, but it is very clear now, guys, that when you look at how these sneaker companies are sending shoes to LaVar Ball, so that NBA Summer League, another property that was mostly irrelevant, is suddenly now a thing. They're doing it because they recognize that LaVar Ball can help them too.
I'm actually surprised they're sending them. I thought they were ordering them because it's not like they can get them big baller shoes until November, right? Like you got to hoop in something.
Yes, but then they're retweeting the fact that and sending messages to, hey, LaVar, looking good in those shoes.
Which is fascinating because then on a nightly basis, we were tuning in to see what shoes he was wearing during the
And that's
Summer
new.
League. And then he is ultimately the MVP of the Summer League. So it was just a fascinating a storyline, and we will obviously stay tuned to it. For that note earlier, more than 1 million people checked out that game online, in addition to the 3,000 or 4,000 that were in the gym and the 1,500 that wanted to be in
I
the
will
gym.
say this, though. If you did watch that online and you're over 18, you should not be proud of yourself. Like, I do want to say that. Like, this hype is there, and LaVar pulled it off, but that's going the extra mile there.
All I know is that we wonder what we're going to talk about when LeBron James retires. Thank you. Whew. Thank you.